you guys discovered that Mary, the innkeeper of the fish trap in Nair, was in fact a hag. And you ruthlessly murdered her in her home, stealing her possessions and ending her reign of terror, I guess, on
her allowed reign of terror, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Turning a blind eye.
Stealing people who stopped at her inn and carving them up and making bone wards. You stopped her little business, and she's really upset about it, but she's also dead.
Yeah, so she's
So
not
it doesn't
that upset.
really matter anymore. In any case, you guys got a minor reward from Simeon the ape from Nair, and he gave you like a couple hundred gold pieces, and then sent you on your way with a little tidbit of information to go to the blast zone, which you realistically probably already would have gone to once you got to Jelrin. So you didn't really get too much, and you guys started to head out towards Menun to continue your way to Jelrin. You did not rest, so far as I know. You guys took a short rest.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we have any horses either,
Well,
do we?
well, no.
No, you
rest is
still.
good enough as
They
anything
did.
for me.
They did allow you the horses that you had been given. They loaned you. Yeah.
Did anybody put the 600 gold on their character sheet? Helvier?
I did not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Can you make sure it's on your sheet since you have like the bag of holding?
we can take a long rest because the inn's free real estate.
Pretty sure I put it on there. Yeah, I did.
Okay, good.
Well,
We own the
is it
inn.
nighttime? Like, I don't know when that whole thing went down.
It was about evening-ish.
It was late, I think.
So I don't think we're setting out in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So basically, what had happened was you guys spent, I think, the morning before that, investigating the town, and then like around noon, I think we decided you guys came back to the inn, and you guys were like talking to her, and you're gonna set up like another night, and then you cast the detect evil, and she counterspelled it. And
So we
it's
continue to
still
talk to her.
But we took a short rest, didn't we?
You did take a short rest, so I would say it is probably 2 to 3 in the afternoon now. Let's say that.
It's more than
it's
like a full day's ride over to Menun then.
I mean, like, I'm good, like, with my spell slots, probably. Are people really hurt?
I
No,
used all
I'm
my
okay.
die on the short rest, so I'm good.
Okay. And I'm not going to cast a spell to heal people.
Okay. So are
I
you
got
guys
some spells. I'm fine.
stay the night? You guys are beginning your travels today. What's your intention?
I wanted to ask, do I have to wear the headdress on my head, or can I, like...
If you want to gain access to its properties, you must wear it like
The skull
a normal
helmet.
human being. Yeah.
I have a question as far as
Misha, you
equipping
look
and
lovely
unequipping
with that
things.
thing on.
How does that
Walk
work?
around with a human skull on my head.
Can you unequip and equip things mid-combat, or
You can.
You can,
It takes an
unequip
action,
and
right?
equip things. So it depends on what you're asking about. So if you're going to
let's use her for example. The
That's
headpiece.
a great
her
question, 'cause
headdress,
like
I would
to know.
say that it's to interact with an object is a free action. So she can pull the headdress off of her head as a
nice.
free action and drop it on the ground.
Could I put it on my head too?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that you could have it stowed in on your pack or in a small sack around your waist that you would be able
Ready to pull pocket.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you wouldn't be able to throw it back.
But you'd have
in
to
the
be
pack.
attuned to it the whole time, probably.
Yes,
I mean,
you
you're
would
just
have to be
worried about
attuned.
people's opinions of you, right? Like that's the only reason why you're just not
Well-
always wearing it.
Not there's necessarily just their opinions. If you walk around with a human skull on your fucking head into a town, it's
It
not.
looks
just,
pretty evil.
Yeah, I
It
think we
looks
just found the
really
necromancer.
You can just walk in the back of, behind all of us.
Yeah.
They can
No, I
just
was
see
thinking about
me,
taking
and
it
then
off. But
I'll be the one.
There are rules about armor, though. Like trying to equip a full suit of armor.
Yes,
Right.
that takes much longer.
long time.
Very different.
Doning and doffing.
But you can cut your armor to get it off, but then you have to go to someone to repair it if you want to remove your armor. I think it's like 5
Interesting.
minutes to remove it, or 4 minutes, is it, Tom?
Sorry. It depends on what the armor is. I
But I
think,
think you can-
heavy plate's like 10 minutes to take it off,
10 minutes to get off, but you
Damn.
can
or 10
cut
minutes to put it
straps
on. I
to,
can't
like,
I
remember.
think it's 15
to
for the
quickly remove
highest
it, but
armor
then you
level.
have to repair your armor afterwards.
About 47 minutes.
But in
3 to
combat
4
time,
days.
that's eternity.
Squire, take my armor.
So I would say whether we're leaving today depends on some things. We're currently in Nair, right?
That's correct.
So if we were to estimate how long it would take us to get to M space Onum, is that supposed to be like that, or is that?
Manoon.
I don't
I
see
I don't
anything
see a
weird
space.
about it.
No, it's
Looks
there's
right
no
to me.
space.
Wait,
Moon.
really? Why does mine look weird? There's like
Did
a
you update your
giant
drivers?
space between the M and the A.
No.
I don't have a space, so it must be you.
How is that even
Weird.
possible? Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know how
It's
that would be
roll 20, baby. It's a pretty
They
interesting.
fixed my spell. Now that you
Hmm.
mention it.
Good
But
for them.
anyway, yeah, like, do
Nice.
we have any idea how long it would take to get there?
30 days is a
Six to nine,
day's,
it
or
took
30
a
miles
while.
is a day's worth of travel with horses. And so
Might
there
have
you
to
go.
camp.
So we should
Great, I
just
can't wait to
ride
get
like
ambushed.
to like here or something and make camp maybe. No?
I mean, what happened last
Okay.
time we did that?
Well, it's not night though.
It's like afternoon though, right?
That's right.
Well, if it's gonna take us more than a day to get there, then what's the difference?
Well, I thought it was going to
No,
take us
we
a
should-
day to get there.
Because we've already expended some spells.
We don't want to hit like an exhaustion though. I mean, if we ride, this is like a day and then a third of one. We'd basically be
Well,
arriving. like, in the
also the
morning.
whole inn thing that we've been staying at is under no management, so it would be free, and we could just do it with no consequences.
I mean, it was already so cheap that it was essentially free anyway.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
kicking us out because
No,
we.
I'm just saying, what's the? I'm saying that if we're gonna have to stay on the road at some point, why not tonight? What's the difference?
I agree with Haldir. We're already midday.
Sure, we can leave.
All right, fine.
This town gives me the creeps anyway.
Well, they definitely don't want us here, and it's going to take us more than a day, regardless. Even if we left like first thing in the morning.
They don't want us here. We solved the murder mystery.
We also found out that they've been ignoring people that have been slaughtered in their little town.
You know, they
There
didn't
were
know.
a
They just
lot of bodies
These
there.
people are Looney Tunes. Let's get out of here.
they were travelers at an inn. Who was gonna?
There's no way to notice that something was happening.
They're just probably dumb.
It's up for debate.
Yeah, they're dumb.
Misha's giving them more credit than that.
They clearly live in Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Oh my god.
It's kind of like Nebraska. Yeah.
Now watch as your character gets mowed down the next
Yeah.
time. Oh, I just rolled 3 crits. I'm sorry.
Anyway, I think okay. It sounds like we're leaving now.
Okay.
Yeah, let's leave.
Okay. So you start your way on out of Nair. And what is your marching order?
I'll be in front.
Wait, I don't
I'll go
remember how
behind
many.
Kiro.
Do we have a horse for everyone, or only a handful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they gave us
Gotcha.
all.
I think that Yane's was Yane's horse. That was
Mine
that
was the
last
old
session?
one.
died.
Yeah, Yane's
It was
horse.
dead.
Yeah, died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Heart
but they
attack,
gave
right?
him one, right?
Yeah.
When we
yeah.
went to
Yes,
the mall.
they did. That's the one that died.
What?
Yeah.
It died on
It
the
was an
road to
old-
Nair.
He can ride.
Because he pushed it and it just couldn't take it and he died.
Oh, I thought the people.
And
in
we
Nair
left it on
gave
the
us
side of the
horses.
road.
I thought they gave us horses to go to the mall. Maybe.
No,
was
I
mistaken.
asked for
No,
one.
I think
thought.
they did, but we did like an animal handling check and he like failed, and then he pushed his horse or something and it died.
Yeah, I'm
right?
saying that
Yeah.
happened from Pix to Nair, not from Nair
Oh, is
to the
that
mall.
where it happened?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
So
we
so
lost that
then
early.
you got another.
I have a new one. Yes.
Because
Alright,
that's
yeah.
also
So
when
I-
the
that's-
rest of our horses were slaughtered by goblins and illithids.
Again.
Perfect. Yes.
Do we have a horse count, by the way, on how many horses
We don't
bought?
need one. It's too many.
Yeah, I that's why I have
Somehow
the
it wasn't
unlimited
Carol's
horse.
fault this time.
Carol is the smartest person of all of us when it comes to horses.
Oh, yeah, he knew what he needed. Anyways, so you have enough room on this road. It's a bit wider that you could do ranks of 3 wide. But however you want to line up is what I'm asking.
Are we traveling single file?
I mean,
I'd say the usual.
I will be the
Yeah.
vanguard. Yeah, I'll go
unless
front.
this choice is going to dictate. how
Sure,
we
I'll
get
be
there.
behind Kirill.
So Kirill,
Sounds like single file to
Hammond,
me.
I'll bring up the rear.
who's in the
I'll-
middle then?
Then
I'll
Misha would be in the middle.
with how
So
dear.
Misha, Haldir, and then Yane.
hmm
Okay. Perfectly reasonable. In any case, you guys continue to ride as it starts to get closer to dusk, and you can see to the north the sun starting to cast into the maw, and you get to see all the glory of the maw, basically just shining its teeth at you. Looks very oppressive.
Did the sun set in the north in this world?
Glad we're not going.
No, it does not. It sets in the west. Yeah, that's the direction. Yeah. But no, when the sun is high in the sky, you can't really see into the mall because there's an overhanging rock, basically, that makes it so that the lightest portions of the day are dusk and dawn for the mall, the inside of it, anyways. But in any case, night comes, and I imagine you guys make camp, or you're going to press through the night.
Make camp, but can we make it off of the road a bit
hmm
Yes.
so we're
Sure.
not visible from the road?
How far would you say we've gotten? Maybe halfway.
I would say you got. It's not necessarily going to matter as far as
Sure.
timing goes, but I would say you probably made about 12 miles, I think, probably before dusk, because it was a little bit later in the day.
Okay.
A little less than half of what you could do.
A little over
A couple
20 miles
miles
to go.
off.
Gotcha. Cool.
Sure.
We could probably go a mile off trail and then back up.
In some shrubbery.
Let's go a mile away from the mall, not closer.
Sure, whatever. That's
Do you
fine.
want to go towards the lake? Okay. That's
Yeah, let's
also
go.
okay.
You're still pretty far away.
Toward the
we just want to clear some map.
Sure. So you guys make camp for the night. Is there anybody going to take watch?
Yes,
how
I'll
are you
take the
intending?
first watch.
I'll take second.
Okay.
I'll do one.
Sure.
I guess I'll do the last one.
Okay.
And for my
Then-
first watch, I'll use Goose to sort of scout a little bit larger perimeter around our
It's like they
place.
say, if you trust Yane, you'll feel the pain.
I'd like one night of sleep would be great.
Sure.
in any case, first person on watch, why don't you go ahead and make a perception check?
Do you get advantage because
11.
he's got the... Yeah, but you were
Uh,
using Goose.
Yeah, I don't know if the help action would
Familiars
apply.
can take the help action, can't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
If I'm using my familiar to
help you
To
do
actually-
something. Yeah.
Which
Okay.
you said you were using.
I said I was using him, not
But
using him to help Tandem.
help. Yeah. I would say that you probably don't have advantage. In any case, your watch passes uneventfully. Who is second watch?
That would be mine.
Okay. So Amisha, throughout the night, it starts to get a bit colder, as stated previously. But you notice occasionally when the wind kind of picks up from the south, it's blowing from the south, that is, you get just like this really very chilly breeze.
Is this reminiscent of being around dead things, chill?
No, not like that. And it is really persistent from just the south. It's like an unnatural cold, especially just based on the geography. I mean, it gets colder in Solera than it does down here, you would imagine. So, it's
Okay.
just a little bit odd. But other than that, nothing happens. And next person on watch.
I would mention that to Haldir, especially since he's, I'm assuming, Arcana trained.
Sure.
Hope he is.
There's an unnatural cold that comes from the south.
Okay. Can I see if I know anything about that?
You can make a history check or an arcana check.
I'll guidance you, because I can. Shit.
No
Critical
need.
history. You know that this region, south of the Maw, is sometimes the hunting ground of large white dragons. And they come down usually before before winter begins in earnest. They like to get all fat on some dank meat. So they go down to the forest that's in between Jepper and Restoma, which is where Skull and all those cities are. There's a large forest that's kind of in between those two countries. So they like to go down there, mess around. People generally don't know exactly what they do because they don't like to get very close. But you do know that if you are around, like the weather around ancient white dragons is unnaturally cool, and they can shape the weather just by their presence. So,
Okay. Yeah, so I just tell me shit. It's probably just a dragon.
Dragon.
Just a
That's-
dragon, he says.
That's
Yeah, a big white one. They like to play around out here.
and I take it we are not safe. Or are we safe? You seem very relaxed about this.
Think that we're no more in danger here than we would be anywhere else. That's what I think.
Right.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah. But, Halder, you can
Tries to sleep after hearing that.
you can make a perception check for your watch. You don't really notice anything out of the normal, and when your watch ends, you wake Kirill for the final one, I believe.
yep. I inform him there may be a dragon about.
Oh, goody. I'll
Our
keep an eye
favorite.
out.
Okay.
Let's see if you do keep an eye out. Yep, that's what I
No.
thought.
All right. So you guys all come to consciousness in the morning, and Kirill has fallen asleep, failing his duty to keep watch through the night. He is very tired. It was a hard fight for him. So the day is yours. What do you guys do?
Get the fuck away
On
from
the
wherever
road
the dragons are.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
we're
can't.
just packing up and leaving. Back to
Yeah,
the
I
road
can't
and
wait
back
to
on
not
the
Get
main.
on an encounter on the road again.
Okay. So you guys begin your journey the rest of the way to Manoon, and you guys continue in your marching order the whole way there.
Sure.
Okay. So why don't the front of the train, Kirill and Tammin, why don't you guys make perception checks?
Sure. And I will have Goose help me on this one.
Okay. So you are about, your guess, 3 or so miles out of Menoon proper, and you catch on the wind just the smell of ash or of burning. I would say it's more like a past burn. I don't really know exactly how that scent would
Cold
play. But
ash.
yeah,
Not
Um,
again.
I
and
hear you. I'm not liking
you
this.
quickly come upon a what appears to be a rundown farm that lays up against the road on the north side, and it looks like a fairly modest accommodation for whoever used to live there. But you can see that half of it's caved in by a large boulder, and there's nobody around so far as you can tell in the immediate vicinity. You see that there are no crops in the field or anything like that. It looks like everything's been harvested at this point. And yeah, it just looks like a rundown farm, and you can see further off in the distance, there's kind of a slope to the land where it kind of dips down. You're basically walking downhill, essentially. There are a number of light smoke areas that are kind of popping up in your field of view. But yeah.
How
do you
far
do?
off the path is this? Like, At
You
least
see
it's the burned
some
down
to the
little
north
house.
that are probably, maybe a couple miles off. It's a little bit tough to gauge the distance. And it is a fairly wooded area here as well, where it hasn't been cleared for farmland.
okay. Are we able to
y-
see Manoon from 3 miles, or?
Yeah,
It's still-
so as you get closer to Manoon, maybe a mile off from the city proper, you do see that there is more smoke, but it's all white coming from ahead of you. It's not so much like the whole city was on fire or anything like that. There's just, it could honestly just be some chimneys, but seeming as
Right.
you saw the rundown.
I just meant like
house, you
from
suspect
when we
that's-
first noticed this 3 miles out. Like, were we able to see
No,
the
you
city?
couldn't see it. It's not that steep of a decline.
Sure. All right.
And so you start to see what appears to be a kind of hastily prepared palisade wall that at points has been either demolished or burnt. The town streets, as you get into Manoon, are cobbled, and you can see from what you can tell so far, the town is abandoned. You don't hear anything, you don't see anybody moving. The destruction that has befallen this city is sparse. Like
Is it
every
cold?
fifth house is destroyed in some manner.
Interesting.
But for the most part,
It's the Passover.
fairly well put together. And
Well,
a
even
lot
though
of the
me and-
damage is
Sorry,
on the
go ahead.
north side of town as well. You can
Gotcha.
tell.
Yeah, I mean, I assume we don't have to explain this to the group now. Like, it's readily apparent, so everyone sees all this stuff.
Yeah. So you guys, that was just the initial.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And we don't see anyone about, right? Looks relatively abandoned, this city.
If you'd like to investigate further, you certainly can.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely want to investigate since we are literally walking through the town. 14.
Sure. You peek into a few buildings, or a few homes, maybe even just a few shops that are along the main street, just trying to ascertain what happened to the residents here. And you can easily see that whoever resided here previously has taken most of their goods, everything that they could really, and left. You don't see dead bodies all over the place or anything like that. You don't like see fresh blood or blood that's blood-stained areas, anything of that nature. You just see kind of like hollowed out, cleared out shops and homes of resources and such.
Okay. And is there any more like recent looking smoke? Like maybe not white smoke, like more black smoke coming from anything closer toward the mall? Like not like super far out, but within a few miles of the town?
You can make another perception check if you'd like.
14 again.
I would say that there's nothing that gives you the indication that there are more creatures or
Sure.
more anything of that nature. No.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll just say, whatever happened here, it looks like the residents left in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. I mean, the town's like big enough that we don't know for sure that there's nobody here, right?
Right. Seems that way.
Yes, the town is not necessarily too much bigger than Nair, so it's not a large town, and so far as you can tell, there's nobody there. There might be somebody sneaking around in one building. You'd never know unless you checked them all.
Well, I'd like to search around a little bit. I mean,
Sure.
All the
and
shops can't be.
I think we should spend some time doing that.
I will
personally.
happily go look into an alchemist shop.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
I need to
whoever
look- I
is
need to get some
wanting
potions.
to investigate the town, you may roll an investigation minus Tim, who was already.
Who I've already done, yes. But I will go with Misha to search for any alchemist shop if
Cool.
possible.
Sure.
I will guidance myself for my investigation check because I think my investigation check.
And Haldir, you can
Look
also.
at Yane
Freaking
You're high
Nancy
end
Drew over
barbarian,
here.
dude.
for the
Okay.
barbarian. That's
So
I'm trained.
Yane and Haldir, you guys, by whatever means, end up coming across what you think is either a nobleman's house or like some lofty merchant, and you start peeking around. And Haldir, you find a couple of candelabra in a servant's cabinet that are made of gold. Could be worth some money. But you actually don't find anything as far as living people go. But you and Yane together, as you kind of combing through this house, do come across some correspondence rather that this merchant had, and it seems to talk about like persistent raids that have happened from the Maw, and the town leader has decided that it's just not worth the risk for this winter, and so majority of people who were able left this town and headed to either Gendia, Tosa, or Jelrin if they could, if they had relatives in any of those or smaller villages along the way, to just get away from this place that they couldn't defend because they have already deployed a good portion of their manpower to the war that's happening in Solera. So he's just basically talking about business that he is like wrapping up before he was good. And yeah, and you also find a small sack of coins, like 6 gold pieces.
Oh, great.
Like, 8 copper. probably some
Wow.
child's piggy bank that you
Something
cracked
you wouldn't
open.
pick up in any
Yeah.
other RPG.
Yeah.
Other than that, Misha and Tammin, you guys kind of mill around the main street, looking at the shops, and you don't see anything that really resembles a alchemist shop. There is, looks like there's somebody who sold seed, and it was maybe a herbalist or herbalist of some type. But you go through their stuff, and either they've taken everything of value, or they never had anything of value to begin with.
Oh,
Okay.
how much gold did you say we found? Or we found?
Yeah, I
What,
said that
sorry?
you found
Golden
some
candelabras.
golden
The
candelabras. Yeah, which maybe you can melt those down or sell them to
Like
somebody.
how many of them? Like 3, 4? 50?
I would say
One.
two good sized ones. Yeah.
We didn't find a whole lot. No,
It's
yeah.
something. It's something.
And Carol,
Like
you
first
are
place.
still very distracted.
Yeah.
Actually, Carol, you kind of get discouraged while you're doing your search, and you kind of mess around with your own stuff after a while because you're just like, okay, there's nothing here. So you
All right.
find something in your notes.
Hmm.
In any case, what do you guys do?
Well, there doesn't seem to
I'll
be
probably
much
meet
here.
up
We
with
should
the rest
move
of the
on.
group and
So you guys
We should-
reconvene
Yeah.
towards the center of town after maybe an hour's search.
Shall we find
and
an
I'll share
inn
the
or a nice bed?
letter thing we got with everybody.
Okay. Sure.
And you guys found a very nice house.
Yeah, it was definitely better than the other stuff in this town. So yeah.
How are the beds in this house? It's getting late. Is what I'm saying. So
They
we're-
exist.
Yeah, it was maybe it was a feather mattress. I don't know, but
Feather
they
mattress,
were
that's
stripped
better.
bare of their
Beddings.
beddings. Yes.
Really? They took their sheets and their pillows.
Yeah, they were silk.
Well, I still contest that a feather mattress is probably better than anything we're going to find at the inn, and this is we basically ran a day's ride to.
Well, we can find a place to sleep and then leave.
We just
a
did.
nice, a nice house.
Okay, good.
Kirill's just RPing his terrible investigation check. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all for the
Spending in the
noble
manor.
house. Bed sounds pretty
Let's do
good
it.
right about now.
A feather bed.
Any bed
Okay.
sounds pretty good, Misha.
So you
I'm
guys
not gonna-
find
The feathers.
sure.
I'm not going to sleep in one of the beds. I'm going to stay by the front entrance.
Okay. So I imagine you guys run through the same order of watch throughout the night.
How
Yeah,
far away
I'm
is the
gonna take
town
a watch,
entrance
though.
from
Gain
this
some
noble house?
pillows. If they left pillows, she'd give him some pillows.
How far is
They
the
did.
front entrance to the town from the noble person's house?
Like
Like, is he pretty far
less than a
away?
mile. Less than a mile. I mean, across the entirety of the town, I think there's it's a few miles wide, but it's pretty spread out over a good portion of it. So across the main street of the town, this home was close to it. So
Sure. Hope nothing bad happens.
sure. So whoever is first going to
Yane
take
can
watch,
go first.
make a
He
perception check.
had
Yeah.
to sleep through the night. I'll
Yeah,
take
I'll,
me a
I'll take
nap.
first.
I'll take me a little nap. I won't watch tonight. If that's okay with everyone
Holy
else.
shit.
I'll take second.
Okay. Yane, you are maybe just a little bit paranoid, and you're kind of
Just-
jumping at shadows through the night. But as far as you can tell, there's nothing going on in the town. Because every time you hear a sound, you go and investigate.
Mhm.
It's like maybe it's like a cat or something messing around in trash. Who knows? It's
Townsfolk are just wondering why there's a shirtless man jumping around.
you don't see anything on your watch
Okay.
of note. Next person.
4.
Poor Carol, man.
Carol, you are
Technically
just
double critical.
engrossed in the events of the day that you still really think about. Keeping your eyes peeled and keeping watch. So again, you struggle to sense anything happening. You do stay awake for your whole watch, though. And passes uneventfully so far as you can tell. Next person's watch. Misha.
Misha wakes up and the house is on fire.
Yeah, everybody's dead. Oops.
The undead have invaded the entire town. We, have
We
zombies
haven't realized
everywhere.
it.
It's still very calm, and as the wind kind of rolls through the town, you hear the knocking of like unshuttered windows or unlatched windows rather. But every sound to you seems natural. Like it's nothing out of the normal that you would expect in a pretty abandoned place. And so your watch also passes uneventfully. Haldir.
All right. I'll make a perception check. Boom.
17. That's the critical in my eyes. This would be pretty good eyesight right there. Again, it's nothing out of the norm. You have very consistent time with what Misha experienced. There's nothing in this town. Just bones.
Okay. Well, can I sit at my watch looking at this little puzzle thing?
You can.
D100?
Mm-hmm.
20. Have I had that before? Who could know?
It should be in your notes.
I don't think I have. 72, 96. Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't had that
I'd
one
be very
yet.
surprised if you have 20.
15.
So on your 20, the box itself starts to vibrate in your hands, and it gets more and more intense, and until it's like shaking your whole body, and then it stops abruptly.
Okay. Makes sense.
That's a useful. All right.
Super helpful, man.
You now have Tourette's.
That'd be
Probably
horrible.
lost a few brain cells there. Brain cells.
Yeah. You have a concussion.
All right. You guys come to consciousness in the morning. What do you do? Day is yours.
Yesterday, when I was kind of looking around town, I ended up finding some sort of note.
No.
It said that we're gonna find a barricade near Gendia, and if we want to go through, we have to speak a certain message. And that,
Found this where?
You just found it?
Yep.
That's okay.
And that there's that
didn't mention
whoever
this
wrote the
yesterday.
note, says that whoever rules Gendia is a quote unquote stumbling stone to their master's plan, and that if we remove that person, we will find our future goals in Jeron will be unobstructed. And that
Where
people,
the fuck did you find this note, kiddo?
it was just
It was in your
there.
pack. It was in your pack. In your stuff.
Address to okay.
And it said there's agents in the city that will assist us if they can.
Is assassination?
Yeah, it seems that way. I don't know if we're gonna actually do that, but
Good
Let's
old
do it.
paladin quests.
do not know why I would assassinate
It
someone.
does say remove it. We don't necessarily have to kill them. But who knows? They might be unjust. We can figure it out when we get there. We don't have to observe this
Yeah.
nonsense.
I agree
Sure.
with that.
Okay.
So someone dropped this. When did this show up in your pack? I assume just after Nair?
Yeah, well, I was I assume while we were searching the town today.
I'm wondering if it's the Dark Elf. It's the only person who I can imagine who'd be.
Isn't the Dark Elf bound to that area though? Or am I thinking of the wrong one?
No, he's not bound. He's kind of working for the.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Baroness
I'm
or
thinking of the
whatever
wrong
there.
one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was thinking
Well, I
of the
think there's
trio.
not much more in this shit. We should move on.
Indeed. This place is disturbing.
Okay. So you guys are going to continue on your way to Gelrin.
Mhm.
Are you going to take the slightly more direct route of going to Gendia, or are you going to go down south to Tosa?
I'm
Do we
fine
have
with
any
going to
business in Tosa?
Gendia.
We don't have any business in Tosa, I don't think.
We would have. That was where the cart was
If
going
the
with the gems, I
Wallace,
think.
yeah, we'll leave that guy.
Which, since
Good thing
we
he's gone.
didn't do that, we
That was
should.
one of the places he wanted to go. He wanted to
We
go
should
even
But
further than that.
I wouldn't be opposed to
But we have Kirill's thing talking about
going to Gendia
India.
to investigate this thing that Kirill's uncovered.
I say we go to Gendia.
Agree.
Sure, let's do it.
Very well.
Okay. So you guys begin heading out of Manoon, and you get to that crossroads, and you start to head north. Let's see. How far can you make it in a day?
45 miles there.
All right. So you guys make it to where I am right now over the course of your day. You could try to make it there in the night, but pushing yourself a little bit farther. And you notice that since you've left Manoon, the roads are fairly maintained cobble that your horses can travel along at a pretty good click, unobstructed, and this would be good for wagons as well. And you do notice along the sides of the road as you guys are traveling that there is a number of, looks like, previous campsites. Like this road is well traveled, and there are very obvious stopping points that most people take and set up their camps at if they're done with their travels for the day. And then you come across a number of cottages and farms, and you can see that a couple of them appear to be dormant for the season. And then a few of them there's just smoke coming from the chimneys. You can see just as you come across the first one, you can see that there are people moving about inside, or you can hear people talking as you kind of come close to it. Oof,
What was that?
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
he slapped his
How's it going?
microphone.
I hit.
Slaps his gong.
It might be worth stopping by a farm or something and asking about what happened in Manoon.
Oh, wasn't it just conscription? A lack of
An
defenders.
entire town.
Then
empty.
why is half the town on fire?
Children and the
What?
women.
Didn't I literally gave you guys the note that explained why that they were leaving?
Yeah, but did it say why they had left other than, like, I know there was a thing with bandits and stuff, but, or not bandits, but raiding.
Yeah, it said that they wouldn't be able to defend the town for the winter because they had too many people who were already gone. So it's better
Yeah,
for them to just to leave.
It's the same reason why Tamlin
Sounds insane.
would abandon a town. Lack of 18-year-old boys.
God. Did we want to stay at an empty campsite then, or stay at somebody's house?
What time is it?
If you will make that stop at that first home that you guys pass, then it's probably about noon. But if you continue your whole trip, you guys would be ending it at dusk or when it starts
We
to
should
become.
ride through.
We're supposed to be expecting a barricade,
Oh,
though.
right.
Wonder what that's going to be.
I suppose we could ride through and stay at an inn. You actually want to go all the way into town, right?
Yeah, I want to get off the road.
Okay, so you guys continue to move forward along the path, and as you continue, you will need some type of light source to kind of manage. You see here. So, what would you like to do for that?
Kirill's in the front still, right?
Yeah,
Carol
light
is
my
still in the
armor.
front, yeah.
Light up my armor.
Your
Use
shield,
your
yep.
shield, yeah.
Well, your shield already has light, right?
I mean, that's kind of dim.
Okay.
Is it a dim light?
It is.
I think it is.
It's not very far.
I don't know if the light spell is going to be much better because it's a cantrip.
It's essentially torchlight. But so you continue forward, and
I'll touch Kirill's helmet
sure.
and catch light on it.
Sure.
Why don't you make perception checks as you guys continue along the road?
All of us?
Yeah.
Really hot and cold today.
Wow. Hey.
Jeez, man.
So Haldir and Tammin, you guys are the first to kind of pick up on some you would say just like rubbish and trash that's on the side of the road. Like it's like, oh, there's a broken wheel, and you think, oh, that's not that big deal. And then you notice there's another one, and like, there's like half of a cart that's shattered along the side of the road, and you're like, well, that's pretty extreme. And then you notice that some of the road is damaged, and
Can I make a check to see what I think may have caused this damage?
Dragon
Yeah.
breath.
sure, if you guys want to stop and investigate, you certainly can.
Yeah, we would definitely
Please,
want to do that.
please.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so who's investigating and who's going to help them out?
I'll give a guidance to whoever's investigating.
I don't know
Haldir,
shit
you're
about.
the
I don't know
smart
shit
one.
about this kind of stuff. So
I'll investigate. Yeah. I had too many good rolls in a row.
You get
Yeah.
a 1d4. Oh no!
Nice. Well, you can tell that
Curse on
whatever has
guidance.
caused this is big. This
Dragon
damage is pretty extreme. As you kind of continue along the road a little bit farther, you notice another wagon. This one, the wheels are all fine, but through the center of it, of the bed of the wagon, there's a gigantic boulder that's crushed it. And you can see that there have been, or there was at least, bodies and blood at some point, but it's been cleared up, so far as you can tell. It's
Boulder,
not-
like it could be like from a catapult, or it's too big
Or
for
it's
that.
dropped by a dragon.
It's not too big for a catapult. I mean, it would be very reasonable for a catapult to have shot this. But you're still like 5
But kinda
miles
weird given
out
the
of
location.
town. Yeah.
Well, we have some
Um,
experience with hill giants, right? Or at least Yane would.
Yeah,
we all ran
you
into
guys,
them.
yeah.
As I say,
Yeah,
we
we were gonna
we
kill a
avoid,
bunch of
we
these giants,
avoided
but
them.
You guys were all too
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah.
With good
Too
with-
smart, he
Didn't-
means.
Did they
Sa-
toss boulders
says the
at
man
us?
who doesn't
That's
have to get
unclear
near
if they
things.
did.
Giants have been known to throw boulders. That's a thing that they do.
Yep, again, they threw one at us, so we definitely should know that.
Haldir, are you familiar with these lands?
Somewhat.
Are
Sort of.
there hill giants?
There's Are there hills? Of course, there's giants everywhere. What do you mean?
Jesus.
That's a good
Grumpy
point.
boy slept on the wrong side of the mattress.
Well, I mean, it's just.
All right,
I don't know
so
what
there
they
are
teach at
giants
that
around.
monastery, but
Sure. Okay. Do you continue along the path, or what's your intention?
How fresh is the blood?
Make a medicine check. You would say it's less like it's
Misha's very
fresh
good at
blood.
this.
It's more like it's blood stains, really. That as everything's dried up, long since dried up, you would suspect. And it maybe a week, if it was recent, or it could be much longer than that.
As soon as this fight took a week ago. At the
Yeah.
earliest.
Yeah, at the earliest, you'd say.
I'll share that information with everybody as I'm really creepy and put my fingers like against the wood bloodstains and see if I can smear it.
You like lick it.
Almost.
Jesus.
She sniffs it.
okay.
Like weirdo.
We need separate rooms from now on.
Yeah, right.
It is much cheaper to share a room. Tammin, you should know this.
I mean,
No
well,
comment.
if we're not gonna go off the road to investigate this, then we should just continue. But
Indeed, but
We should investigate it because it could be something important when we get to Gendia.
they have been attacked. Which might explain the barricade.
well, I mean, how are we just gonna walk towards the mountain until we run into something?
No.
What?
We can send out Goose.
How do you propose we investigate it?
Well, I
Goose
mean,
flying ahead might not be a bad idea.
yeah, I can do that.
It's a pretty cloudy night. He won't be able to see very far.
Just
Well.
put the helmet on his head.
The lit up
Get
helmet.
that thing away from me. Well, if it's gonna be, I mean, I don't really think we should go too far then. Maybe we should just go then to Gendia. Hope we don't get jumped.
Try to be very alert.
Okay. So you continue forward. Not even 50 feet further than where you were. You see in the middle of the road, Kirill, you have the lead on this, but as everybody gets closer, about 60 feet off, so the edge of your vision as you start to approach and you come down further on the road, you see that there is a gigantic tree that has been growing so far as you can tell out of the earth in the middle of this road.
All right.
It's larger than the other trees that are around this road. That looks like most of them are not probably too old. They've been chopped and cleared for fuel while they were building the road.
I remember Tao hated trees, so let's kill it.
Oh god.
So I'm gonna approach the tree.
Carol, we've already had trouble with magical trees.
It'll be fine.
Okay. So are you going by yourself? Is anybody going with him as you approach this tree?
Yeah, I'll come with him.
Misha's going to ready a spell.
Okay. So Kirill and Tammin are going to ride forward a little bit further. And when you get to about...
how much further are they going?
They...
Because I'd like to be in range, but I have some pretty significant range, so like...
So you're about 70 feet away from the tree, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And so as you get closer, Kirill, to about 30 feet away from the tree, you hear this grumbling voice come from the tree as far as you can tell. It goes, "Hold there."
I'm holding.
"What brings you to my road?"
Oh, we're just passing through to Gendia.
Interesting. Um. Shit. Ganoot. Ganoot. You hear him call off, and you hear a voice farther to the south. What? He calls out, and Ganoot's like, "What was the passphrase I was supposed to say?" And you hear the calling voice. It's who do you serve? That's what it is. Come on, ask him. Oh, and he's like, "Oh yes, yeah, that's right. Oh, my name's Gurin, by the way, and this is my road. It's my detail. I'm supposed to, stop people coming this way. And if you don't answer right, I'm gonna have to, crush your brains and eat you and all sorts of crazy shit. And take your goods and stuff like that. But you gotta, if you say the password, I'll let you go through. So, who do you serve?"
I serve the one with flame on her lips and lightning in her eye.
Ganoot.
This guy's the best.
Yeah, I think that was right. I'm gonna say that was close enough. So you can go. You can go through. I guess I'm kind of curious. What are you guys doing in Gendia on the service of the Holy One herself?
Honestly, not sure ourselves. We're just kind of given a message. We were trying to follow it.
Well, that's the way it goes sometimes. You get a message and you do your duty. And, we all got our lives to live, right?
Who exactly is the Holy One?
Oh, the Holy Mother, the Queen of them all. You know her.
I don't.
Well, what do you mean?
I guess she knows me, though.
Hey, how'd you get that passcode? Because I'm starting to suspect that maybe you didn't. Shut up. Maybe I didn't get this right. And so for visual clarity, right now you're talking to a tree.
Oh yeah, no one else knows this. Never mind. This is
Well,
happening.
no, they can hear the voice. It's very loud and booming. Shakes the stones around you.
Tammin is next to Kirill.
I'm going to send Kirill a message and say, "You better start playing along. We don't look what this guy did to the other caravans that tried to pass through."
No, I was just given a message from the Maw.
Oh my
The
god.
Maw itself. The Holy Mother.
Well. Yeah, sometimes these things happen, but I don't really know what to do here. You seem like nice enough folks. Honestly, most of these people seem like nice enough folks, but orders are orders. You gotta dispatch them, even if they, are screaming and crying and stuff. It's it's the upper world. Who cares about these guys, right? Right?
Of course.
Yeah. Well, you can go around me. I'm not gonna move because, reasons. So, keep going. I will say that once you get about a couple miles out of town, they got a lot of riders, and they don't really take too kindly to any of our folk coming into town. And usually they shoot us up full of arrows. So I'd be careful.
Thanks for the notice.
Yeah, no problem. Well, good luck. Happy travels.
Good luck to you, too.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be off then. Bye-bye.
Okay. And you guys start to move
Bye-bye.
past the tree.
Yeah.
You have to go around it.
I will do so hastily.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You managed to do so with no ill effects.
As I'm walking, as I'm close to this tree, do I see anything that would dictate where the sound is coming from? Do I think this is just a talking tree?
Make a perception check.
Or do I think that there's something in it or something like that?
Make a perception check.
I'm working on it, dude.
Actually, it would be an investigation check. If that makes any difference to your roll. Makes it one worse.
I think they're yeah.
But you can tell pretty plainly, actually, as you get closer to this tree, and it's lit up pretty well by Kirill, who's kind of lagging a little bit behind so you guys can get past it. It's an illusion. It's not a real tree. It just looks like a tree. You can see that it doesn't really make sense, like the way that it's coming out of the cobbles, and the roots don't look right. It's actually not very good illusion either. But it is. That's what's going on.
When it referenced below,
So
is where it came from.
I believe that if you're aware something is an illusion, that you can see through it, right?
Yeah, I suppose it becomes a little bit.
It becomes
hazy.
the illusions
Yeah.
become mute to you, so they are faded.
Yeah. So you see, what do you see? Let's see. So you see a 18-foot tall, extremely well built, and just fine cut physique giant who's holding a large chain in one hand, and there's a gigantic ball flail at the end of it, and he's got what you imagine to be human breastplates that are going down his shoulders that are layered so that they are shoulder pads for him, and he's just perfectly still. He's not moving at all, and he's still facing the way that you guys came. And he's got this kind of grayish skin. Yeah.
What's he looking at? Is he looking at us?
He does not turn his head as you guys approach. He's looking straight down the road.
All right. As we're getting a little bit further away, I just say, "That's a nice chain you got there. I like that." And I just keep walking.
He says, "Oh, well, thank you. I worked really hard on it."
Okay.
Okay. You guys continue to move to the point where you think that you're probably out of earshot.
Yeah, then I told him, "Oh yeah, that's a giant."
That's where is it said below.
Yeah, the maw or the underdark or some shit. Right?
So below is at war with above now.
Well, I think that's kind of always.
I suppose, but I think we should we can have this conversation farther away. By farther away, I mean in the safety of a city.
All right, Kirill, that's what you're saying. Actually makes sense.
Okay. So you continue along the path until you get to a point maybe about 1.5 miles off from the city. And you can tell the city is ahead of you because Gendia, unlike the past few towns you've been to, is completely walled. And there's multiple structures within that are many stories, and you can see lights coming from them. And you can also see that there is a clearing all the way around the city that is almost a mile long. And there's some small shrubbery and like stones that are not cleared from just inability, essentially. But for the most part, it's like burnt grass, and like they've completely cleared out everything around this town. And as you make it to that clearing, you can see that there are a number of horsemen that are riding from kind of like the southern side of that town along the wall, and they're headed in your direction.
Well, I suppose we would halt. Right?
Yeah, I would.
Misha
There's
will
like a
wave.
ton of horsemen, I imagine, right?
You see probably about 20.
Yeah, definitely stopping.
And you see them kind of spread out as they approach you. 5 of them kind of flank out farther to the north. 5 of them flank out south. And then some of them are kind of like held off in reserve. But who comes straight towards you is a group of 5 fully armored and armed knights. And except for the man at the front, he's really you can tell almost immediately that he's a half elf because he's just way more lithe than the rest, and he's not wearing.
You kind
full-
of cut out there for me.
He is a
Tell
half
just
elf.
kinda what?
He's
Oh,
a
okay.
half elf because he's much smaller than the men around him, and he's not wearing the full plate. Instead, he's got a short sword at his side, and he rides up to about 60 feet off and dismounts as he sees that you guys have kind of stopped as well. And he starts to walk and approach, and he kind of like holds the rest of his knights. And a few of them have torches lit just in each one of the battalions, but they're kind of keeping them low so they don't ruin their night vision. And you can see that they're mostly looking out into the woods right now, not necessarily concerned directly about you.
So
But
he's
yeah.
approaching on foot.
mhm.
On horse?
Misha's going to dismount
Okay.
and then look over at Kirill and Tammin, who are in the lead.
Sure, we can dismount.
It's rude.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm staying on my horse.
I'm getting saddle crotch anyway.
Okay. So he approaches about to the point where he's about 30 feet off, and he draws his short sword. He doesn't like raise it up, but he draws it, and you can see that there is a spectral version of that same sword that appears in his left hand, in his offhand, and he just has them both low. But he says in very clear, prominent voice, "Who are you that you walked past the giants?"
Well, we can be quite persuasive, and he wasn't very.
Of that I have no doubt, but not a soul has moved past them without provoking an attack. So, as far as I can tell, you're either in league with them, or you're masterful debaters.
Kirill is something special.
I
I
find that
have-
hard to believe, so best start talking
Ouch.
quickly.
Well, we have our moments.
That's not
What?
quite sufficient.
He asked for a password, and we were close enough to have his intelligence not catch up with it.
You knew the password.
No, I think we knew something that sounded close enough to it.
What is it? Pray tell.
Well, I think we were wrong is the thing, but I think he was too stupid to know.
All the same, he let you go. If you could give this information to us, we could save lives, potentially. Please,
Sure.
tell us, what did you say to pass the giant?
I serve the one with flame on her lips and fire in her and lightning in her eyes.
He pauses for a moment. And you can kind of see that he tenses up a little bit. And then the calmness comes over him again, and he says, "Is that quite right? Where did you hear that phrase?"
I heard whisperings of such things in Manu.
Make a deception check. Manoon's been abandoned for a couple of weeks now. I'd be surprised if you heard whisperings of anything there.
Well,
Speak
to be-
honestly.
To be truthful, it wasn't a whispering. We were kind of looking around the town trying to figure out what's what, and then when I looked, it seemed that someone had slipped a note into my pack. And if we want to get past the so-called barricade near Gendia, we'd have to say that.
It was slipped into your pack.
Yes.
Do you have any idea who might have done this for you? They've
No.
given you a great favor.
It's quite serendipitous. But also, the giant seemed to think the giant almost kind of smashed us when it seemed apparent. It seemed almost apparent that we didn't know who exactly the one we were supposed to serve was. Some sort of mother of the maw or something. Thankfully, yeah, again, he wasn't very smart.
He just is kind of thinking about what to do right now. And you can see that he's kind of inspecting each of you. And he does not, you know that he does not necessarily buy that that's the whole story so far. So here's what we're going to do. You have managed what no one else has thus far, and you've given us supposedly the passcode to get past this siege that they're laying on us.
But it
And you
may
just
not
so
be-
happen to find it in your pack. Someone has done you a great favor, but that would mean that whoever did it was on the side of this siege. So that means that you, by some connection, are also on the side of our oppressors. Now,
Well, now hold on a second there.
Well,
We've been
that-
traveling for a long time. We've made quite some number of enemies. Okay. And
Everyone hates us out there.
well, yeah, that's true. But there's some pretty we got some enemies. That's what I'm saying. And for all I know, they could be sitting here in Gendia, hoping to take us captive or something. We don't necessarily know. I mean, I don't know anything about this Mother of the Maw or any of that shit. I just want to go through Gendia, stay a night in the tavern, and then fuck on off to Jelrin, sir. That's all we want.
you can make a persuasion check. He kind of relaxes a little bit. I would say that it is plain to see that this situation is a bit more complicated.
Yeah, if anything,
is exactly
I'm
what I was
sure, I
going
know
to
you're not
state.
aware, but we're heroes. We actually just killed a hag in Nair like 2 days ago.
then
can
you've
send a
done
runner
a
for
great
'em.
service to that town. And no, I
And to
will
the
not
region.
send any runners anywhere because they will die. That's the whole point I'm trying to say, is that nobody
Well, yeah, you
gets
just
here
give 'em the
without dying.
passcode.
Why? If you know that the giant's gonna be there and he's always in one place and he doesn't really move, why don't you just like bring out a catapult and like lob a 300-pound rock in his face?
That
Or
would mean
trebuchet.
committing our forces to the field. And I don't know if you know this, but it's not just those two giants down that road. There's many surrounding this town, and we are in rather dire straits.
We also expect there to be a dragon in the area, by the way. Just so you're on the up and up.
Ancient,
One more blessing.
but it was somewhere to the south.
Yes.
I have found your explanation sufficient for now, and I will guide you to the inn that we're using to store refugees for now. But the Duke will hear of this, and he will want to know and hear from your lips exactly what happened as well.
I always love meeting the Duke.
Indeed.
If for some reason he wants us to solve your town's problems as well too, it's going to be more than 600 gold for giants. I am just saying.
He opens his mouth to respond, and then he sheaths his swords and just kind of shakes his head and goes back to his mount and says, "Well, come on then. There's no use staying out here all night."
All right, I'll
We should
follow
read them.
along.
Getting back on my horse.
All right. So you guys kind of follow this main battalion leading you straight to the city. And you're flanked on either side, and the last group kind of encloses behind you after you pass. As you approach the city gates, you can see that there are scorpions that are lining some parts of the wall. And it is a full stone wall, and there are
Scorpions? Is that what you said?
yeah. It's like
Kind
a
of-
It's like the
It's like a
really large
ballista.
ballista.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
a really large ballista.
it's the animal. There's some big scorpions that are on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
scared
Scorpions
of
are like the
giants,
things
those
they
idiots.
shot at Drogon
It was,
with in
yeah, I
Game
was
of
gonna say, it's like
Thrones.
the Game of Thrones thing.
The really
Yeah.
big ballista crossbow things.
Yep. And so, as you guys approach the outer walls of this town, you see on two spears or spikes that are coming off of the ramparts that are close to this gate. There are two figures that are hung there by sticking the spike through their neck, and then their bodies just kind of like hanging from the pole. And you can see pretty plainly in the torchlight that's around the gatehouse that these are two dark elves. And they look fairly well dressed, and they appear to be quite decayed.
What's the deal with these guys?
You're not actually that close to the gentleman who was talking to you before. He's kind of like riding out ahead of you. So you can ask that, but nobody hears you.
Oh, there's
Besides
people
your people
flanking
around you.
us, right? Was
They're all far away from you. Like they're all keeping their distance as you approach this gatehouse.
Do they look like any of the other half elves we've met? Or by half elves, I mean dark elves.
finely
course they
dressed, right?
Yeah, make
They look
make
exactly
a perception
like
check.
Simeon, I'm betting.
I'll bet they do.
And I bet they all work for this Underqueen person.
16?
Okay. Yeah. You can tell that they are dressed in a very similar fashion as Simeon. And so that means that they're some type of advisor or something of that nature that was sent to this town. But as you guys reach the gate proper, the captain or the leader of this group kind of swings open the gates and gestures and says, "Welcome to Gendia." He again dismounts and kind of directly addresses you. Your horses will stay here at the stables, and they'll be well taken care of. Again, my name, and actually not again, excuse me.
First time.
Tensions are high, but my name is Pasho Rin, and I'm the guard captain here for now, anyways.
What do you have against dark elves?
That's a easy question, I suppose. They tried to assassinate my liege lord. Those two in particular tried to poison him.
This is all starting to make a lot more sense.
A lot of reasons, but
It didn't look like they were assassins. Pretty close.
it's not really something to discuss in the streets. Tomorrow, I will take you to the Duke, and we will discuss these matters, along with your passing of the giants. But for now, please follow me. He continues to lead you on foot through the stone streets of Gendia, and you can see immediately that this town is this is where people have been going. Like you would suspect that a majority of the people from Manoon have come here, and like all those small farmsteads, everybody's fled to Gendia, to the walled city, and if they couldn't make it all the way to Jelrin, or they didn't want to for whatever reason, and the city's full of refugees. Even at this late hour, you can see that there are people working and preparing defenses, working on crafting weaponry by torchlight if they have to, by mage lights if they can, because there are a number of people who you can discern are magically capable here. He leads you down a couple of narrow streets, and you see a sign on a kind of like a longhouse called the Buttered Biscuit. And you can even see at the very bottom, it says Bernie's. So it's Bernie's Buttered Biscuit. It could be. And he just kind of gestures to the hall. He says, "You'll find accommodations there, and I will come for you in the morning. Please cause no trouble and stay here. I'll have a couple people watching to make sure that that's the case."
All right. Have a good night then.
A quick question. The refugees that came in from Manoon, how long after they arrived were you besieged?
Maybe about a week and a half ago, this became a siege proper, but we've been dealing with attacks for months.
That is very inconvenient for you.
Also very convenient this has happened while all your men are off in a foreign war.
That is also true.
I don't think
Well-
that's convenience.
I said inconvenient, actually. I'm sure the food supplies are limited, the point of a siege.
Duke Garland had anticipated something of this nature happening and was very wary of the queen and the king in this endeavor, this war that you call it. So we actually still have all of our levies, and thank
Isn't
goodness
that
we do.
isn't denying the queen levy like is that treason?
It is. Those advisors didn't take kindly to the actions of Duke Gollin and attempted to kill him. Fortunately, we were able to thwart the plot, and town still stands. The way I see it, the queen would have us all burn, and no surprise, her being a dark elf, these being her lackeys, I imagine.
After the siege, I would not look forward to being in your shoes.
No, I have many more duties to attend to this night. So, please. He gestures again. As he then turns and walks away.
All right, we go to a buttered biscuit.
Yeah. So you enter into this this long house, and you can see that it has had recent additions, quite a few. And the common hall, which you imagine in normal circumstances would be filled with tables, is instead filled with beds. And there's like partitions that they're using. It's just like rough cloth to kind of section off rooms that are not to the extent of which is the length of the bed, and then maybe like a little bit extra. So it's very, very tight conditions, and there's tons of people all around you. You can hear just like constant coughing, and you think that, wow, this is going to be a really good night's sleep. But it's warm, and after a few moments of you guys just kind of taking in the scene, an older gentleman pops up next to you and says, "Oh, then I suppose you guys are some more refugees, though it doesn't quite look like you're the normal stock." He kind of adjusts his really, really murky bifocals. So I'm counting, I think there's about 5 of you then, huh?
Yep.
Indeed.
Ooh. You don't mind doubling up, do you? Close like that, probably. Been traveling for a while.
With, of course, the proper price incentive.
Oh, there's no charge here. I'm getting commissioned by the city to take in everybody. But you see, it's tight fit, so if you can, squeeze together, that'd be better.
How much squeezing?
Oh, it'd be pretty tight. Not much room, but it's, better than the floor.
Is it?
Not really. But you won't get pissed on the floor, or on the beds, excuse me.
Oh, God.
You can smell in here. It's pretty terrible.
You got any spots for the people who can pay money?
Nope, all taken up. Sorry to say.
Hi, motherfucker.
Hey, I'm not the one sending giants to kill us all.
No, it's just that your captain of the guard insisted that we stay here. Fuck, I'd rather sleep outside on the ground, personally.
It's
No
not really
offense,
my problem.
It's not that your inn is. I mean, I'm sure this was a very nice place when there wasn't 6 million people in here.
Oh yeah, it was good. It was good times, but things are the way they are. So, anyways, I'll get you set up. Come on. with me. And he starts directing you to a number of little partitions. And he takes you the first one. It's like, so two of you? Or you yeah, two? Big guy? Little guy?
Which one is the little guy?
Clearly, Tammin.
I'm
Yeah,
assuming Gabe is the big
yeah,
guy.
that's the one I was talking about. And yep, same. That's you got sharp eyes.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll be the big spoon.
Okay.
No.
He doubles you guys up. And then he leads to another one and says, for the lady
Ah, thank you.
and her friends. One of them, both of them. He's kind of pointing to Haldir and Kirill.
Sure.
Okay. Haldir. Well, not Haldir. He just obviously doesn't call you that. All right, Mr. Elfman. Come on. I'll take you to the last spot I got open. And he leads you to another straw bed. Sets
All
you
right.
down. There'll be a stew going in the morning, and I'll even make a couple of biscuits. Hopefully, if you wake up early enough, you'll get a couple.
Are they buttered? I call out from my bed.
Nope, not anymore. Dark times. All right.
Before I go to bed, I'd like to cast Detect Evil.
Okay.
Just to make sure there's no shenanigans going on.
There's no hags here.
anymore.
Bernie pops through
you
the
haven't had any
window.
hags around
Counterspell.
here, have you?
No.
Squant tears through the room.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's the archfiend Squant. No,
Squant the
nothing
disfigured.
pops up. There's nothing out of the norm in this room.
Because I noticed evil beings and inns seem to have seems to be some sort of correlation.
It's a theme, yeah. Never trust where you sleep. Yeah,
I think it's a great point right now.
it could be. So he directed you to those places, but you guys don't have to rest right now. But it is pretty late in the evening, and you hear there's a number of people snoring. It's very loud in here, and it's
I'm gonna
not
stay up all
particularly
night.
dark.
Gonna stay up all night.
Take a
Yep.
point of exhaustion.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah, there's
Have
so many
fun.
people in this building. Well, yeah, no, I'll sleep.
Okay. Haldir, you sleeping? You trying to sleep?
Yeah.
Okay. And actually, the people who are bunked up. So Yane, you said you're not sleeping. So does that
Mhm.
mean you're just kind of standing next to the bed over
I'm
Tammin,
gonna
or are
kinda
you
just-
laying in the bed?
No, I'm not gonna lay in the bed. I'm kind of just like I'm
You
gonna
just big spoon with your eyes open.
kind of walk around and
Caress
not
my
really
hair.
disturb anybody.
Sure. That's fine. Okay. So then, Misha and Kirill, you guys are both attempting to sleep.
Yes.
You guys can both make Constitution saving throws, and Haldir, you can do the same, and Tammin, you can do the same. But
Okay.
Kirill and Misha, you have disadvantage. Point of exhaustion, Kirill. Point of exhaustion, Misha. Haldir, you're fine. Tammin, you're fine. So Kirill and Misha, you guys both have.
Exhaustion.
Is that
Point of
because
exhaustion.
there's so many people?
Yeah,
Oh, we have,
you can't. Yeah, you
disadvantage.
do
Can't
not.
sleep.
You do not sleep. But
Now I kind of
Yane,
want to roll just to see.
Yane, you're staying up through the night.
Uh-huh.
All right, taking you to private conversations, Yane.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
No! God, Yate's gonna die.
No, he's probably being messaged.
Oh no! The last time he ended up in a private
Yes, I
conversation.
know. Trust me, I was
Yeah.
I was there. I was the person who tried to do something.
Oh God!
He'll be fine.
I would be fucking
We
shocked
start
if he
seeing
died.
roles. We start seeing roles happen. I'm gonna be very, very sad.
I'm sure he's being contacted by his superior.
Hopefully.
Is he streaming?
I don't know. Okay. Oh, that yeah. I'm not sure. I subscribed to your channel.
Sweet. I think
It
you're the
took
only
you this
person.
long?
It did take me this long. Well, I didn't see a link for it before.
What do you mean? I subscribed it for literally ever ago, dude. What are you talking about? Yeah, but you said you're the only one.
What?
What? Are you having a seizure or a brain tumor?
Sure, a little of both. I have 9. We have 9 subscribers. I wonder who
Oh.
they are.
I
Other
was
than
gonna
us.
say it's more than the people in this this game. Haka.
No uploads for 4 months and then like 7 in one day.
Really knows the YouTube market.
Yeah, that's really bad for the algorithm. But oh well.
It's like the Netflix idea.
Yeah.
Drop the second season all at once.
Huge.
I really want Squant to be the leader of the disfigured.
It'd be a decent name.
He just comes crashing through building roofs and fucking people up. Surprise.
I don't think that's what he would do. I mean, isn't the whole
No,
point
I
that,
know, he's super
that
tiny.
they're pretty tiny?
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen any roll checks yet.
Yet, but
Which I
he
have
is taking a
suspected
while.
Maybe he told him to do private roles.
Could be. I don't think it would change anything. I'm asleep. I can't help him. I don't think any of us can help him. I think we're literally all asleep.
No, Jetson.
Oh.
Technically speaking,
Well,
I'm trying to sleep, but
You're trying,
unable
but
to
you're
sleep.
not. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. When he first said like I didn't pass, I was like, what? But I got a 17. I totally forgot I was at disadvantage. Failed so hard.
Yeah.
Exhaustion level 1's not even that bad.
No, it isn't. It's just, kind of
It's
shitty.
not. Is that disadvantage on like ability and skill checks? And is it attack rolls also?
No, it's just skill checks, basically.
Disadvantage on ability checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, disadvantage on
That's
attack
not
rolls and
saving
saving
throws.
throws is third level exhaustion. Second is speed halved. It gets really fucking bad at 3.
Yeah, it's
Disadvantage on
deadly
attack
thing.
rolls and saving throws. 4 hit point maximum halved.
And then 5 is dead, right?
5 is speed reduced to 0. 6 is death.
Oh.
I mean,
If you think you'd think that if your speed was reduced
you might
to
as well
0,
be dead if you're 5.
Well, I mean, you'd think if your speed's reduced to 0, then you'd probably end up sleeping, and
That's what I would think. Yeah.
I mean,
And then you, yeah.
Be like, I'm just gonna nap here.
He goes back up.
He's alive.
We don't know that.
I have to make a new character, guys.
I doubt that very much.
Nope. So
about time.
you guys here early in the morning, there's bells that start to ring throughout the town that signal a change and shift and a number of people in the inn groan. The ones that were able to rest wake up and start preparing for their day and their duties that are assigned to them. Immediately in the morning, nobody appears to you, so you guys have a few moments to kind of catch up.
Yeah, I want a biscuit.
So you at what point you slept through the
Yeah,
night,
I
okay?
slept.
So by the time that you get up to where they're serving out the stew, you can see
Misha's
the
got
old
2
man with
biscuits.
bags under his eyes, and you say, "You want a biscuit?" He's like,
Where are my biscuits?
"I'm sorry, laddie. Should have been up before the bell."
This is Bernie's biscuits.
It is. And he
That was
slops
just
you some
Bernie's.
stew and passes it to you.
I guess I'll take it.
Yane, you got some biscuits.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I've been
my
up all night. I better get
goodness.
some.
I was
I'm gonna
say-
give one to Tammin. I've been saving it.
Okay, thank you.
It's cold though.
I'll gladly
Sure.
take it, cold or not.
Storing it in the pit.
Yeah, the prison wallet.
It's pretty warm then, don't you think? Anyways, you guys have a couple
Extra
moments. You're not exactly alone.
Timmons, they're like, oh, there is butter on here.
There are
Jesus.
people
From under cheese. Okay,
Oh,
go on.
Gosh, there are people around you, and that have taken note. And who has the best insight? You can go ahead and make a roll. If you have a
none.
insight above +5, go ahead and make a roll.
I have a
Not me.
5. How do you have a better insight?
I have a 5.
Because
Oh,
I'm
God.
proficient in it. And I have a
So
16
if you have
wisdom score.
a 5 +5,
I roll so shit on these.
Okay.
Damn it.
Cyril's got a 21.
-1.
and so these are all
But
ability
you have-
checks.
but
So
yeah, you have
everybody,
disadvantage.
Kirill, did you make your save? No, you did not.
So the highest
Pretty
roll
tough.
is 11 by 3 of
11.
us.
Yeah.
Feeling
You can see that people are giving you a pretty wide berth for whatever reason.
Awesome.
let me just sniff myself.
You don't smell any worse than this place.
Athletic check.
How bad does this place smell?
Probably
While you're
worse.
good.
close to the stew, it smells a little bit better than awful.
What if I cast prestidigitation?
Around
and make it
you,
smell like roses.
well, that's very nice. It
Are
lasts for a
people,
little
are people
while.
more interested
That
in
was-
sitting
Why do
here?
you keep picking roses?
Because
I
that's his
don't know.
thing, man.
Misha's gonna like.
Have I
just
picked
get
roses more than
closer to
once?
house
I don't
It's
know.
like
Yeah.
his
It's
signature,
just like
like Yennefer of Vangerberg.
Like Vega.
Lilac and,
Lilac
lilac and
gooseberries.
gooseberries. Yeah.
All right. So what do you guys do?
Well, I want to speak to my group.
You can, but again, you're not
Mhm.
necessarily alone.
Correct. Well,
Yeah, I
I
just
found
keep
out.
casting prestidigitation.
Yeah, I
Okay.
found out who
Like a
slipped
lot.
us the note.
Oh, I'll come in closer.
Well,
Who
Was
was
it the
it?
monkey?
Who was it?
it was the monkey,
Yeah.
and they have a task for
The
us.
monkey. Oh,
Doesn't
this
he
is
want
the
us
dark
to?
elf guy.
You
The
know.
note, pretty much exactly what the note says, that what we need to do, and
I think that guy can go suck a dick, right? Is that just me?
It would put the
Well, what's
entire
the
town
reward?
against us.
What's the reward that he put on the piece of paper and/or the message he gave you?
it just says that they will open doors for us when the time is needed, further along in Jelrin of all places.
They
If
just
we
need
help
us to
them.
kill the Duke or whatever.
Well, not shut the fuck up.
I'm being quiet.
Okay.
I think that if these guys can't do that themselves, then they're worth nothing to me.
They.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's basically a hero of this town, it sounds. Even if we were to want to do this thing.
My gut says no, but if I meet the guy, maybe I'll just want to do it anyway. You know?
If he
Well,
were
we're gonna
a-
meet him
apparently
later anyway.
we will meet them,
Uh,
and
Why
we
don't we
have the
feel it
choice
out
to. Yeah, we have the choice to uh, help or not help.
Excellent. I like choices.
I told them that it'd be difficult to persuade most of you. I didn't give a definite answer.
How did they react to that?
As well as they could. I made it seem like we were on their side.
doesn't that guy know that I'd rather just kill him?
It. I think they have a. I think they believe that we will help them, and I think it might be in our benefit to at least go along with that.
Oh boy.
Let's meet the Duke before we make a decision.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you guys mill about for another 20 or 30 minutes before eventually you see Captain Pasho come in through the front door, and he's flanked by a couple of very stern-looking knights. And you can see that he looks pretty haggard over the course of the evening, out the entire time. What?
I guess I didn't actually ask him, but would Yane have told us where he? I mean, you just talked to some guy, or you talked to that guy?
I did not talk to Simeon,
Sorry,
but
go ahead.
it is of the same.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, yeah, but you guys still had some extra time if you guys have anything else you want to talk before they arrive.
I think we're okay.
Okay. Pasho enters, and he just kind of rubs his eyes. Says, "I apologize for my tardiness. It was a long night. I imagine it's the same for you." As he kind of looks around the inn. I apologize for the accommodations. It's not much around the town in general.
They really are quite dreadful, but you know.
He nods. Let us depart then. And you are guided through Gendia, and you can see that during the day, the town is bustling with people. Even this early in the morning, people are going about tasks that are very clearly designed to improve the defenses of the city or take care of the massive surplus of people that they have here right now. And as you're kind of winding through the streets, you can see that, again, people are looking at you with like almost fear in their eyes. They're like, "Oh shit!" Like you can see it very plainly on the people's faces as you start to walk through the town.
I do not understand why are people afraid of us.
You say that out loud as you're kind of
Yeah.
walking through. Yeah.
I'm going to specifically address it to our Athel.
I'm a pretty scary looking guy. I mean,
Yeah, so
Misha just kind
Pasho-
of rolls her eyes at Haldir.
Pasho turns around and stops for a second, just kind of glances around. That would be the work of Omen Speaker Casson. He has done us the great honor of providing a I guess you would say, a prophecy that when a wealth of travelers arrives, the end is near.
We are hardly a wealth.
In Gendia, if you have a wealth of friends, it's 5.
Well, damn.
But you are also our friend, so we're more like 6. Tell them it's not a problem.
We made friends before we did enter the town. This is true. Aldira has a very good
Yes.
point.
I suppose so. It's superstition, I assure you. And there's a couple of ways you could interpret it, anyways. That is one way to say it. Or could mean a large monetary amount arriving in town. You guys are obviously not caring too much, I imagine.
Don't believe so. Be much
Not
happier
that-
if I was.
Yes. In any case, let's continue. Pay no mind. And he continues to lead you down corridors that appear to be artificially thinned, like they're like posting the walls in closer, and they're setting up, parapets and stuff like that to in anticipation that the walls are going to be breached. Maybe it's just to keep people busy. There's not really a lot for them to do. So eventually, you guys end up into a larger square that has a nice fountain with a sculpture of a man with a couple of birds sitting on his shoulder. And you cross that, and there's tons of people milling about in this town square. But across the way, you can see that there is a fairly well-maintained estate building that hasn't been touched too much because it doesn't really need to. It's multiple stories and looks like strong walls, and there's already open balconies where people can take aim from. So, and you do see that there are a number of armed soldiers that are on constant watch, specifically located here. And as you get closer, Pasho pauses, and he says to his two accompanying knights, "Go let him know that we're here." He turns around to you. Now, I can't necessarily assure your safety in this. If the Duke doesn't like your story, kind of gestures openly, like whatever happens is going to happen.
I appreciate your honesty, man. But if the Duke doesn't believe our story, I can't guarantee his safety should that occur.
He nods his head,
Really?
and he pats his sword, and he says, "If that's the case, so be it." And he continues forward. Gestures for you to follow.
Them's just the truth. I mean, what, they think that if they attack us, we're not gonna fight back?
Yeah, I
Come
mean,
on.
just threatening their Duke super casually.
Yeah,
Let's just let him go see
Dread
the Duke.
Dread regicide.
It's not. It's self-defense. He knows.
Yeah, I
that.
understand that, but they're not gonna. Well, anyway, we'll follow him in.
Right. And so you guys are led through a couple of hallways before you're set into a large greeting hall. And you can see as they kind of swing open that there are on either side of this hall, and just throughout the entirety of this estate, you have seen a lot of more finely dressed individuals. You'd imagine that these are landowners that have come from Manoon and the surrounding area who are taking up residence with Duke Gollin in Gendia. Its accommodations are a little bit nicer, but there's still a ton of people here, and not everybody is dressed to the nines, and most people have kind of resorted to more basic clothing. But you can still see it every once in a while. There's a noble who's wearing just an entirely ridiculous outfit for what's going on. But as you enter into the hall, you can see that there are a number of petitioners who are all lined up, waiting to receive the Duke just outside. And then entering in, there are guards on either side. at a quick glance, you'd say that there's at least 30 armed guards in this room. At the end of the hall, posted up on a bed and kind of propped up by pillows, you see a weathered man. He's still got.
He's sitting on his bed.
Yeah, he's sitting on a bed. He's propped up on pillows, like he's not supporting his own weight. You can see that he looks like he's just sweating a ton, and
Oh,
like
he's one of these.
he's skinny. You know, he actually looks like he would be healthy. Like his hair is still dark. He looks like he's younger, maybe in his 40s, but he looks to be very ill. Very pale in complexion, and yeah, he's just like sweating profusely. And he's attended by a number of robed people.
Does he look poisoned?
Make a medicine check. Yeah, I mean, there was an attempt made on his life. There might have even said that they tried to poison him, but so yeah, he looks like he is poisoned in some capacity.
Okay.
So as you enter into that hall, you're stopped by a knight of peace, and they hold out their hands for your weapons.
All right, I hand over.
I'm gonna look at the group and kind of be like, make the facial expression like this is what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what he means by that.
Like what I was talking about earlier. Like this is the situation that we're gonna meet. We're gonna meet him, and I was talking
Girls
about.
just handed over his sword.
And all of your javelins and everything else.
30 torches.
Sure.
No bludgeoning weapons. Yeah. So they.
I put my sword in the bag and I hand him my bag.
Okay.
Let's see here. Well,
I
yeah, I give.
don't really
I
have
guess I give
any
him
more-
everything. There's no way for me to hide anything.
You can
Yeah,
attempt to
same as
conceal
well.
something with a sleight of hand check. if
we
you want.
try to
I
conceal
know.
this great
I
axe.
can, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try?
Let's just that two-handed.
No,
great
it
axe.
has to be a small weapon, a light weapon.
I'll hand over the engraved short sword I have, while also in the same movement try to disguise the Nimbus blade with the other side of my body, like my other hand.
Sure, you can make a sleight of hand check.
You better not fuck this. Oh my god.
Okay. Nobody appears to notice that you stowed your blades. Just like within the folds of your clothing, you are able to disguise that you are carrying something that you have done before. So, yeah, you escape notice. Just barely.
Yeah, okay, good.
Multiple times. And so with that, they're set on they're actually taken back out of the hall, and they're set on a table that's outside. And one of the guards says, "You'll be given your things upon the conclusion of your meeting."
I'll give him a nod and a smirk.
And so Captain Pasho looks back at you and says, "Is there any way you want me to introduce you? Otherwise, I'm just going to say that you are the ones who bypassed the giants."
No, not in particular.
That sounds fine. You could say like the heroes of the region or something, but
The children of Garant.
What?
I think he's.
Just kidding. I didn't say that out loud.
All right.
That was a joke.
That's
Out of
fine. Okay,
out of context
so
joke.
he just kind of smirks at the heroes of the region thing, where he's heard like literally nothing about that. But He continues down the hall and walks up to where the Duke is sitting. And you can see as you are kind of escorted down with on either side of you, there's 5 knights who have their weapons at the ready. And they haven't drawn on you or anything, but they're ready to fight, and they're eyeing you. And you're kind of escorted till you're about 30 feet away from him. And you can see at this distance.
What does readying a spell constitute? Like, is it apparent that is happening?
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Never mind then.
Then you can see at this range that the Duke has got his eyes clouded over as well, and you can just like barely see. And Captain Pascio is just kind of giving a brief description to him. He's whispering into his ear. And so the Duke kind of pushes himself up a little bit, rolls his shoulders back as best he can to look dignified while he's in bed dying. He says, greetings to my less than accommodating town. I hear that you were able to make it past the giants on the East Road.
That's correct.
I would like to hear your story, along with your names, travelers.
Well, my name's Carol. We were, passing through Manoon, and we were kind of investigating the town. We, upon the end of our investigation, we just happened to notice that, there was suddenly a note in our pack, and it contained the message to get by the giant.
That's very convenient.
I also said that there's several people in the town that are looking. Said that doors would be open to us if we had took down the person who runs this town. So I would assume that some force seems to use us as pawns to end your reign, but I'm not quite interested in that. It seems rather disgusting and quite evil.
That's good to hear. It's great to hear, rather. Perhaps we could find common cause, but at the moment, I'm more curious as to why you were given this message. What did you do to deserve this?
Deserve being in the errand.
I mean,
Well,
we were.
You got a bunch of dark elves strung up outside, and just the other day, we were in Nemea, whatever that town down there. Nair. We were down there, east a ways, and they got one of them dark elves named Samine. I don't know, real dumb. I fucking hate that guy. Anyway, we killed a hag in their town, and we asked for a reward, and he gave us 600 measly fucking gold pieces. And I expect, oh yeah, he did give us some horses. It's not that bad, I guess. But I suspect he has something to do with this.
Did you perform a favor for him?
There was a
well,
hag.
We killed the hag. I said that, but it wasn't necessarily for him. The leader of that town, her daughter went missing, and we were looking into it, and then we figured out there was a hag who owned the inn, and that,
Yes. I offered Nira the opportunity to resist, but she is rather feeble-minded.
We noticed.
I'm sure you did. I'm sorry to hear about her daughter's passing. She was a good girl.
Why are you
This is
strung up in
too
bed?
nice. Those drow that were strung up outside were the advisors sent to me, like Simeon for Nira. I
It didn't
ignored
really
their
seem like she had the
advice.
pants on.
Yes, that's very apparent that they intended to rule, or at least intended me to listen to what they had to say. But I don't trust dark elves, not least of which that witch of a queen and her puppet of a king.
I would.
This country's going to hell quickly, as you can tell.
I would be careful. It said on the note that there were if we were to go through with the plan that there were many in town who would help take that end your reign if the opportunity came.
Yes, we know there's a couple more that came with those advisors, but we couldn't find them after their supposedly failed attempt to feel like it anyways.
What did they do to you?
Poisoned my meal, and if it weren't for this gentleman here, Omen Speaker Casson, and his magics, I don't know if you go by that, divine workings, I should say, I would be dead now, and this city would fall into the hands of my good friend Pasho, which I'm sure he would adore. In any case, we are in pretty dire straits. But I believe your story, and I could genuinely use allies. What are your intentions right now, travelers? Where are you going?
We were heading towards Jalaran.
It's a dark town right now. It's a dangerous place, especially for goodly folk like yourselves.
Well, just about every place we go recently has been that way, so
It
What's the
does
difference?
seem to be working against us these days. Years of peace, and now this. I think I got one of your names. The rest of you?
does this guy even tell us his name?
We know what it is, right? It's
Yeah, you
Duke
know
whatever.
what it is, but he didn't introduce himself, really.
Okay, I must.
It's Duke Gallon.
Duke Gallon.
I'm Haldia.
Yay.
AFK but on comms, says Misha. So Misha
Yep, that's
probably
Misha.
introduced herself, yeah. That's Misha.
We're
yeah.
making that assumption. Okay.
I would say that's pretty fair.
Well,
If she wants to say a different name, she certainly can. What about you, Tammin?
well, you've already. Yeah, I'll introduce myself as Tammin.
Well,
The whole secrecy thing only works if we're all committed to it. So.
Regardless, why are you still in bed? Why hasn't your healer kind of neutralized the poison?
he has neutralized the poison. Unfortunately, there are rather permanent consequences to being poisoned for the duration that I was. Can barely see you now, and they suspect I'll be bedridden for the rest of my days, which may be short anyways. If you were propositioned by these individuals, and you, as it seems, have chosen not to go along with them, I would recommend keeping your eyes open, peeled, rather, because I doubt they'll take kindly to the rejection of offer.
Seems unlikely, yes.
Which means we have a mutual enemy in this. And I don't mean to put anything on you, but we could really use some help right now.
With the giants.
No, not unless you have 50 more of you sitting in your back pocket. I don't think you'd make too much of a difference.
Well, how many giants are there? We could kill a giant for sure.
It's tough to tell because they move around in the night, but we estimate that there is at least, by last count, Pasho, 30 giants. And
that's getting up there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
a large number of lesser creatures in the hierarchy. Those are stone giants, from my understanding as well.
Yeah, they're pretty fucking big.
They are, and they're beholden to this queen. Hopefully, there's no more than 2. And we're searching for them. No, we know who they are. The drow that came with the advisors. We don't know their names or anything, but obviously they can disguise themselves. They're not incapable individuals. Incapable now that we've tripled our guard, hopefully.
Assuming the reward is appropriate, of course.
I don't know where. I don't think we're not going to assassinate anybody.
Yeah, we're not.
I
Gonna
wouldn't
assassinate
ask
anyone.
you to. So here's what I request. And it is a request. You are certainly within your rights to deny it. I would venture a bet to say that you're not actually even citizens of Jepper. So, you can see we are people in dire need, and you're heading towards a veritable viper's nest, where our enemy chiefly resides, in my humble opinion, and the opinion of my advisor. If you'd be so kind as to communicate to us their workings, if there are anything that they're taking or any actions that they're taking against us, we would be it would be well received if you would help us just by communicating to us what's going on in Jelrin.
How do you propose we do that?
If you have no capability of sending message yourself, I can procure a number of scrolls for the sending spell. And through it, you would be able to send us, albeit brief, messages at long distance.
Okay.
So if that's the case, and you so choose to accept, you essentially be in my spot.
Up to you guys. What do you want to do?
Well, would you mind us having a moment to discuss? I mean, we don't really have a leader per se, so
By all means, discuss.
I mean, our choices are to help these people and now have all of the Maw coming for us. I mean,
Which is
making
The Maw?
it's always been
making-
that way, essentially.
making enemies with the Queen of the Maw is pretty much the whole point of this.
Right. That's certainly the case.
So either it just
Hold
depends
on.
on who.
The queen they're talking about is the queen of the Maw. It's not like the queen of like fucking.
No, they're talking about the queen.
No, they're
of
one
the
in the
Maw.
same now.
Mhm.
How's that?
Queen is her name. It's Ona Larez. She is the matron of House Larez, and that is the highest house in the Maw. What was the way that you described your message? The one you served, the one, Pasha, what did they say? You said, what did you say, Kirill?
The note,
Stumbling
lightning
stone.
in her eyes.
Yeah, one of flame on her lips and lightning in her eye.
Yes. So
Clearly, she's a dragon.
no, not quite. She claims to be a high priest of a religion that they still use in Solura. They worship the twins, something of that nature. She claims that she has direct divine connection to them. In any case, she has bewitched King Mithael Darim, who only just recently imposed his rule on us by disbanding the Merchant Council of Jelrin, which has served Jepper for over a couple hundred years. He's a very bad man, and she is a much worse woman, although I use the term very loosely.
So do you assume that it was her decision to begin the war in this region? Well,
I
not
assume
necessarily
that
this
they are
region, but-
weak because we not show deferment to them. I'm not sure what their aim is. To be honest, that's my best guess. They start a proxy war in Solura for God knows why. And they conscript people from all of the towns near there, leaving them vulnerable to the Maw. Now, why King Mithael would do this to his own people is beyond me. But here I lie in bed, poisoned, a dutiful servant to the people of Jepper for all of my days. You see, we're in a very poor position. Menun is destroyed. Sounds like Nair is in not such a great position. And if my bets are correct, Pix, Easthold, Fulton, Sarek, and every townstead between will be in flames before winter, or during winter. We'll become completely isolated. By all accounts, people who aren't here, and even the people who are here, are pretty well fucked, so far as I can tell. If they breach the city gates, it'll be a veritable massacre. Which, good luck getting out of the city, by the way. Hopefully your message works the same.
Oh, because they're on the other side as well. I see.
Yes.
I think you'll be fine.
I know I'm painting a pretty grim picture. And I mean to. We do really need some assistance. And if you are heroes, like I hear Pasho has described you as, then we could certainly use your assistance in whatever way that appears.
Wait, did he call us big damn heroes?
No, not big bad heroes, just heroes.
Oh,
That bastard. You'll pay for this.
You seem like a man who knows a lot about the region. Could you
It's kind
tell
of my
me,
job.
who do you if you have any idea, who's like the oldest person in Gelrin?
That's a very obscure requirement or
Well, we're looking for
classification.
somebody who came here, I don't know, a long fucking time ago, like 100 years maybe. I'm not sure on the specifics, but we're pretty sure they're still alive. So, if we could talk to somebody else who's old as fuck, maybe help us out.
There is a dwarf there. His name is Amos Ashblood. And he claims to be a descendant of Dolometh, who owned the Hollow Peaks, I guess, built them.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably 350 years old. Other than that, there's a number of wizards there. I don't know. They could be old. They look old. I don't really go around asking people's ages.
That seems reasonable.
The elves live for a very long time. I don't know how long Queen Ona has lived, so she could be the oldest. Sorry, it's a bit beyond me to know that. Does anybody else in my court want to chime in? He looks around, just kind of shrugs.
All right. Well, that's helpful nonetheless. I mean, I don't really know what we're gonna find in Gelrin, but if we find something that we think concerns you, I don't see what would be wrong about sending a message. Does anyone else?
I don't see any problems.
Okay. Well, then I will have you commissioned, let's say, 5 scrolls of sending. Is anybody in your party capable of using these?
I'm sure I can get it done.
He gestures to some of the robed figures that are at his side, and they go about collecting the necessary supplies. In any case, it's been an honor to meet you. Wish you luck on your travels, wherever they take you. Mostly, I just wish you luck on your way out the door. Imagine it would be particularly easy to leave.
Only one way to find out, I suppose.
He nods.
would it be safe to assume that the person who stopped his poisoning already used a lesser restoration?
You think that he did, and you make that assumption, but you're not sure. You can attempt to cast that as well if you want.
I'll ask his permission first, but yeah.
Yes. By all means, if you so choose, you can attempt to heal me. I would not say no. He kind of looks at his compatriots that are with him on the stands, and they are like, this is a little bit dangerous. Lesser restoration requires you to touch, right?
Voice and somatic. Yes, touch.
Okay. So you walk up to him, and a pair of guards flank you as you make it up the
Shushing noises
stairs.
at the guards. Like, shh.
Yeah, sure. And so
Shush them.
as you're walking up, Misha, I'm gonna drag you down.
I should have asked the question.
Asked what question?
Who do you serve?
A private convo.
Somebody
Lot of
other
that
than
going
me gets a
around.
private convo.
Yeah,
I got
that's
one
true.
time.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
when
yeah,
I
with the
woke
eye.
up with the eye
The
on my
eye
head.
guy.
The world's worst sty.
Oof.
Yeah, and my constitution is still fucked.
What is it, down 2 points?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. Permanent until you do something. I guess.
Not sure what.
And then you've got that fucking puzzle box.
I don't know. I don't. I think maybe I'm supposed to try and figure it out based on these clues, but yeah, I'm not very close. I would say.
Oh no, Misha's dead.
No.
So Misha, you continue stepping up to him, and you have the opportunity to cast Lesser Restoration.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Okay, so you'll cast Lesser Restoration on him.
Yes.
And it seems to have like a partial effect on him. Like you can see that the cloudiness of his eyes dissipates a little bit, and you can see his color gets a little bit better. But it does seem like the effects of the poison have taken a real toll on his body in a very permanent fashion that even the magics of Lesser Restoration will be unable to cleanse fully. But he does perk up a little bit and says, "Well, I do feel a bit better now. I appreciate that. You do seem like good folk. Pasho, is there anything that we can do to aid them on their way out the door? Perhaps cause a diversion or something?" He just kind of pauses and thinks, "If you wish to
Well-
risk our forces, we certainly can, my duke."
You're a soothsayer here. I have a question.
Yes. What can I
You
do for you?
you caused us quite a stir on our way in. Everyone thinks we are heralding the doom of, well, everyone.
Oh yes, the prophecy that's a wealth of travelers arriving and the end coming. I'm of the school of thought that means a large monetary amount will come into Gendia and then they'll attack. Personally, a wealth is it's too local of language to think that it means 5 travelers. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
How long ago did you have this prophecy, friend?
Oh, I petitioned my god just moments before the siege began in proper, when raids were getting bad. And I asked the god of the scales what would happen to us in the coming months, and that's what I got in return.
The god of the scales.
Yes, it's commonly worshipped in these parts. I'm sure you've seen the temples if you've passed through Pix or Nair. Not a very large following, but fairness is something that we strive for here in Jepper.
I see.
In any case, go ahead.
I mean, maybe my companions
Well-
feel different, but I'd prefer there not be a distraction, I think.
I think that would be safer.
And it's probably best I don't risk my fortune. All the same, good luck to you then. I'm sorry I couldn't assist you more on your quest, but I did not want to pry. And I hope and pray that you'll be of good news to us, or a good boon to us in Jelrin.
Mm.
Anyways,
I hit him with a nod.
And this meeting is dismissed, and we can continue on. Endless petitions. Yep. You guys are let out the door and left in the square to your own devices, all equipped and ready to make your escape from Gendia to try and flee from the siege. And that's where we will pick up next session.